Voyage.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks, have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/Spotify. Shopify.com/Spotify.
I'm Akshay Nanavati. Join me on the journey to the razor's edge to discover what it really means to be human. Fear Vana. Death was inescapable, even stateside. When I got back home, one of my junior Marines shot himself in the head. I couldn't escape death. And to this day, I still stay deeply connected to my own mortality, doing regular death meditations and keeping a mini samurai sword keychain next to me at all times to remember death. After coming home from the war, I couldn't take life in the normal world. I wanted to go back to the intensity and the paradoxical peace of war. So I went to pursue a master's degree in journalism so I could go back to war as a combat journalist. It's not that I had a death wish, as many would assume. I actually was yearning for the intensity of life and the purity of life that one can only experience when facing death and being in the closest presence to it. Unable to experience that, I started drinking. I felt guilty after coming back from war because Neil didn't. So many others had died out there, so many others had suffered out there. I didn't get shot, I didn't lose a limb. What right did I have to come back alive? So I started drinking again, and drinking heavily.
These kids are the same age as half my unit. They've probably all been on roller coasters. Maybe for that 2 or 3 minutes it felt like fear. But even as you're going upside down in some big loop-de-loop, you can feel that harness. You know you're gonna make it. But where your life is really on the line? Cops, firefighters, soldiers, it's a different kind of fear. I went to Iraq to experience that. And doing patrols, walking in front of my unit, looking for IEDs, wondering if some insurgent might start firing an AK-47 at us, I got it. These college kids haven't walked that line between life and death. They don't know the strange beauty and undeniable power of that edge. I can't relate to any of them. I miss that weird kind of peace I felt while at war.
Corporal?
Cut the shit, Lopez. PFC Lopez was in my unit. Came from Arizona, I think. Good guy.
You okay, Akshay?
I want to go back.
Oh, come on, man. You can sleep as late as you want. You're surrounded by girls.
I can't fucking handle it. In Iraq, life made more sense. It was all about the mission. Nothing else mattered. Simple. And that feeling of living like every day could be your last. There's nothing like that back here. I want to go back.
War is a beautiful and peaceful experience outside of all the horrors of it. When you take away the horrors, it is addictive. It meets so many of those human needs, and that purity to human suffering is something I yearned for again. I wanted to go back to that. And so I pursued my master in journalism so I could go back to war as a combat journalist. But while in graduate school, I met this beautiful Indian woman named Maya. She was absolutely stunning, creative, gifted, one of the best students in the school, and I was drawn to her. So I did all I can to find a way to introduce myself to her, to take her out, to meet her, to spend time with her. And one of our early dates is when we had our first big disagreement.
Maya wasn't an experienced rock climber, but she was game. So I took her to the climbing gym where I was training. I'm going up this wall.
Whoa, how high is that?
50, 60 feet?
I could never.
Sure you could. You just have to work your way up to it.
I'd be too scared.
But isn't that a good thing?
Being scared?
Nothing sharpens the mind like fear.
You would know better than me.
I had told Maya what it was like to go on patrol in Iraq, knowing that you were always a target. Besides, you'll be belayed in. Nothing bad can happen to you.
Where's your harness?
I prefer to free climb.
Seriously, Akshay, get a rope.
It's okay, Maya.
If you fall from up there, you could die.
Then I'll make sure not to fall. I started my climb. I felt like a spider heading up that rock face. Maybe I was showing off a bit, but I climbed this way when I was alone. I reached the top without incident and took the trail back down. Maya stood there with her arms crossed, steam coming out of her ears. What?
If you want to be with me, do not do that ever again.
It's my life.
And when you're with someone, it's our life too. I don't want to lose you, especially doing something unnecessarily dangerous.
Maya was right. After coming home from Iraq, I felt the need to test myself. But there was a line between acceptable and unacceptable risks. Blurring the two wasn't fair to her. Okay. From now on, I'll belay in.
No more free climbing.
I promise.
While I was in grad school, the TV show The Pacific came out on HBO. I absolutely loved Band of Brothers, and this was now about the Marines in the Pacific Theater. And my unit, Weapons Company 1st Battalion 23rd Marines, served in Iwo Jima, so I knew I had to watch it. But I also knew it would tear me up, watching what my fellow Marines had endured and trigger the deep, painful guilt I constantly felt at the time.
Ever since I made up my mind to join the Marines, I'd had my drinking under control. It's not that I never indulged, but I kept it more to the occasional beer or two. But tonight I went back to my old Russian friend. I could mix vodka with just about anything, but I liked it best by itself on the rocks, if it's decent quality. Maya came over that night and found me sprawled out on the couch. She'd seen me drink before, but never like this. I was a mess.
Akshay, what's wrong?
I didn't do shit.
What are you talking about?
In Iraq, I didn't do jack shit.
What? Of course you did. All those people you told me about, those locals who knew you guys were the ones keeping ISIS or some other terrorist from taking over their cities.
I know, but I never got to fight.
That's good, isn't it?
I went there to fight.
So?
I'm a Marine. That's what I was trained to do.
Most people would be happy to come back from war in one piece. Why do you do this shit to yourself?
I don't deserve it.
What?
My place on Earth.
Of course you do. You just...
No.
Akshay, why would you say such a thing?
I haven't suffered enough.
Once I met Maya, my plans to go back to war as a combat journalist changed. Life as a combat journalist isn't very conducive to having a family, so I couldn't do that to her. But yet I had that strong urge to return to a world where I had to face my own mortality, to return to that life of raw intensity. And I couldn't face my own demons. I needed to do everything I could to run away from them. So I decided to take on a different kind of challenge, and I would go to Greenland to spend 1 month dragging a 190-pound sled for 350 miles across the world's second largest ice cap.
Packing for a ski trip across Greenland isn't like packing for your typical 2-month trip. Of course, you pack the usual things like a polar parka, mittens, a down jacket, and other clothes, all to keep from freezing in brutal temperatures and polar storms. The year before my crossing, a British explorer was killed in the kind of polar storms we experienced. So we, me and the rest of the expedition, had a tent we took with us to shelter us from the winds, and a sled to carry all our food and gear to survive out there for a month. Also fuel to boil snow for water, and 32 days worth of food to sustain long days of endurance work. We were prepared, but you can't adequately prepare for that kind of environment.
Akshay, I found this on your desk. Life insurance?
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. Maya and I had gotten married after dating for 1.5 years, but truthfully, after our first few dates, I knew we'd tie the knot. And so did she. It wasn't a traditional Indian arranged marriage, but it also wasn't exactly like an American courtship. Once we were on this track, I had to start reassessing my risk profile, like climbing with a rope instead of free soloing. We met halfway. Maya encouraged me to take this trip to Greenland, for instance. Bottom line is, I had been considering her in my planning, which now included life insurance. But seeing that policy brochure in black and white really did a number on her. I was just thinking that we should take out a policy on me,
Why?
in case I don't, come home.
You are planning to come home.
Of course, but just in case I want you to be taken care of, financially. How much coverage should we get?
I don't want to talk about this.
Come on, Maya, it's not a big deal.
Maybe not to you.
I can see this is upsetting to you, and that's the last thing I want. I'm just trying to reconcile what I need to do for myself and for us.
I can't stand the thought of you being so far away from me. Will you call me?
When I get there, yes, and when I'm about to come home, but in between, there won't be any signal.
I see.
She got quiet. That's what Maya did when she got angry at me. That's when I knew I was in big trouble. Not when she was yelling, which she rarely did, but when she was quiet. You can write to me.
And the mailman is going to deliver my letters in the tundra?
No. But if you write them now, I'll take them with me. I'll be gone for exactly 4 weeks. Write me 4 letters. Put them in their own envelope with a number, and every week I can read a letter from you. It'll give me something to look forward to. Will you do that for me?
I still remember, after that first week on the ice, and opening that first letter she wrote me, it warmed my heart. It brought me so much joy, warmth, and comfort in this incredibly cold, hostile, and unforgiving world out there. And I had 3 more letters to look forward to after that. Those 4 letters to guide me across the 28 days on the ice, it meant the world to me. It filled my heart with so much love in a way that it's hard to describe in words, but it meant everything to me. It was my soul to have her presence with me and to have her love with me out there. It only amplified the aliveness. But after 28 days and after that 4th letter, that journey was coming to an end, and I was no longer able to live out on that edge. I had to return home. And once I got back, without the structure of a job, the Marines, or life on a hostile ice cap, I no longer had anything to keep the demons at bay. The structure is what kept them dormant. It's what kept them buried deep within my soul. That structure guided my hand without having to think. And now without it, the demons started to rise to the surface, and I was forced to face them head on.
I finally woke up after 5 days of binge drinking. I'd collapsed on my couch in the living room. head hurts. Everything looks a little out of focus. I walk to the kitchen to make myself some tea. Catch a glimpse of myself in a mirror. God, my eyes are so red. My gaze settles on the block of kitchen knives. I pull out the sharpest one. I've sous-chefed enough meals for Maya. I can rank all our knives in terms of their ability to slice through a chicken breast, which I imagine offers more resistance than the human wrist. Assuming, of course, the underside of the wrist and the north-south cutting of the radial artery. Certainly wouldn't be the first soldier to take his life after coming home. A junior Marine buddy asked me to take him rock climbing after we came back from the war. We didn't get around to it. He shot himself in the head a few weeks later. I went up to our room and saw Maya sleeping in her bed. The bed that I almost made half empty forever. In my moment of weakness, self-pity, and stupidity, I almost derailed this sweet, loving woman's life. And for what? I felt a burning sensation all over my face, down to my fingertips. Shame. Shame and guilt. Over breakfast, I told Maya what had happened last night. What almost happened.
Akshay, what were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking. She held me tightly, and I cried. I am so ashamed.
No, there's nothing to be ashamed of. But something has to change.
I know.
You're drinking. You had it under control for so long.
It was easy when I was serving, but now there are no guardrails.
I'm your guardrail. Where did all these bottles come from?
I have them stashed all around the house. I showed her all of my hiding spots. I also tell her why I haven't been all that interested in sex. It's all connected. I guess my feelings are getting the best of me, and I don't know what to do about it.
Oh, shh. Let's find a better way to deal with your emotions, okay?
As part of my healing journey, I went to a seminar held by the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, Jack Canfield. And I remember asking him what he would have done differently if he could go back in his career. He said he would have written his book sooner. The impact of that book on his career and the ability to make a huge impact in the world was tremendous. A book is this act of creation that transcends an individual. It spreads far and wide, so I wanted to write one to share the lessons I had learned with others going through their own pain and suffering. I saw that there were great problems in the way we approached fear, stress, anxiety, suffering, and mental health. So I wanted to do something about that and address those problems head on. I wanted the book to make an impact directly and indirectly, which is why I also decided to donate all the profits of the book to charity. And considering my own journey of realizing that post-traumatic stress was not indicative of post-traumatic stress disorder, and that fear was the access point, not the antithesis to nirvana, that's what led to the birth of the concept of fearvana.
Since my time in Iraq, I had been thinking about writing a book about the nature of fear. Now I had to get over my own fears about starting it. I'd never written a book before, and I didn't know where to start. Such a huge project. As always, Maya helped me make sense of it.
when you talk about fear and the way it clarifies your thought, you are describing a higher state of mind, right?
Yeah. It's kind of transcendent.
It sounds to me like a kind of nirvana.
I was raised in the traditions of Hinduism. I was taught that nirvana was the ultimate state of mind and soul where there is no suffering, no desire, no more sense of self. Yeah, I suppose there's a strong parallel there, a connect between fear and transcendence.
A sort of fearvana.
Fearvana. I like that.
That should be the title of your book.
I knew I married you for a reason. And that is how Fearvana was born. But it wasn't enough to simply write about it. It was important for me to live it. The only problem was, I was too comfortable. Now that I was back in the States, living a safe, carefree existence with my beautiful wife, I was so far removed from that fear that had sharpened my mind in Iraq. To truly understand Fearvana and be able to write about it, I needed to continue to test myself, to push myself past the limits of comfort and safety, to get in touch with that fear I experienced while patrolling in Iraq.
Akshay, you have an inner mountain man.
Does he have a thick beard?
He has whatever you want him to have. You need to embrace this side of you. Own it. That's the only way you'll ever find peace.
The process of writing Fearvana was a very cathartic journey for me. To teach somebody the concepts I was learning, I had to be better at them. I had to be a master of them. And so it forced me to go deeper within my soul, to share my own stories vulnerably, and ultimately to help others. I was helping myself. I must have read hundreds of books for research. I also interviewed many amazing human beings whose courage inspired me to find it within myself. By writing a book, I was also able to process some of my own emotions and come to understand them better. Teaching is the best way to learn. So by writing a book, I had to give structure to everything I was learning. I had to bring order to that chaotic mess of thoughts and ideas. That was invaluable for my own learning about fear, stress, anxiety, and post-traumatic growth.
Fearvana is a production of Voyage Media. The series is produced by Nat Mundell, Asif Manvi, Robert Midas, Adam Prince, and Dave Vettimore. Executive produced by Akshay Nanavati. Written and directed by Adam Prince, based on Akshay Nanavati's novel of the same name. The novel is available on Amazon. A link is in the show notes. Starring Asif Manvi as Akshay. Additional cast credits available in the show notes. Edited, sound designed, and mixed by Joel Libman. Original music by Derlis Gonzalez. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you're listening, and subscribe now for future episodes.